Hi, this is Michelle from Simply Scaife Handmade, and today we're looking at a series called Come Quilt With Me. What we're going to do is work together to make this summer picnic quilt. Hopefully you've had some time this week if you've been following along on the blog and you've gotten a chance to look at some fabrics and decide what it is that you want in your quilt. If you look at this one with me, this first sample, you'll notice that we have 5 rows of different fabric, and they alternate one direction and then the other. This is what's often called a simple split rail quilt design, and my quilt was made from a jelly roll that I purchased. So this just simply is a roll of fabric that is already cut for you, and they've already chosen some fabrics that complement each other and that go well together. They maybe have the same color theme, or they're just they're chosen oftentimes by the designer. Now, if you want to choose fabric yourself and you don't want to use a jelly roll to make this particular quilt, it's very easily done by cutting 10 different fabric designs into 2.5-inch strips measuring 45 inches long. And you'll need 2 of each fabric. But today, we're going to take this quilt and set it aside, and we're going to look at what happens when we open the jelly roll. Now, I purchased this one at my local fabric shop, and it was not expensive. It's about $10 for this fabric, so that's a pretty good deal for the amount of fabric that you're getting. And what I did when I got it home, I just simply took it apart. It is just rubber banded together, and you want to open it up. So find the center of it and just unroll the roll. And what you'll notice is you've got all these pretty fabrics. If you look right here, you can see all these beautiful colors together. And what you want to do is just kind of lay them out the way they came. Now you notice we have 2 different pieces of each design. So we have blues here. And then you can see that the next fabric in this roll, it contains some of the color from the first design, and it blends it over into the next color of the design. If you're choosing fabrics that aren't pre-cut for you, you might want to consider that as you look at them, how they're progressing to the next color. And then over here we have a little bit of light green, and we move into a light green fabric. So I just took every single pattern out and I laid it down, and I looked at what did the people who put this roll together, what were they thinking when they laid this out. And it's really obvious from here to see that they were looking at progressing. They stayed within a theme. Our main theme is light blue, pink, and this seafoamy green. And so it starts with a bold statement, this blue, and it progresses to another bold statement, and that would be this pink. So you have some very dominant colors, a bold, bold, bold blue, and a bold, bold pink. And then we have this somewhat mellow green in the center. And in between these 3 main fabric colors, we have some interesting designs that will draw our eyes in different places of the quilt. When we look at this one, it's easy to see how the bold, striking prints, they kind of pop out at your eye. They draw your eye to this interesting place, and you see the randomness of it. But then also, those calm and soothing colors sort of blend together and draw an interesting little path through the quilt. So when you choose your fabrics, first of all, you want to choose some variety. You might look at some fabrics that you really don't think would go together, but the colors go well together. And so if you're experienced with fabric and you've done some sewing on your own, go ahead and go to the fabric store and just spend some time looking at how the color palettes go together and choose your fabrics that way. If you're not comfortable making that step yet, that's fine. There are plenty of pre-cut strips available for you. My advice is to simply choose something you enjoy. Look at the colors and say, what do I like? If this is for your picnic basket, choose something lively and bright and fun that will draw your family together to sit at the picnic table. If it's for a baby, you might choose something complementary to their room. If their room color is a light blue or a pink. Choose something that kind of follows in that path. Now, as we've opened it up, we've laid it out, we've looked at the design, the next thing to decide is, do I like the way it came? Do I like this progression of color, or do I want to mix it up? And that's a personal preference. There is no wrong answer when it comes to laying out your quilt colors. The key is to be consistent and to like what you are doing. Generally, you'll use a bold next to a print, where you can see that this is more of a blue on blue, so it's a softer print, it's a softer thing, and then this is a bit more wild and rowdy. You would want to put those two together, and you really want to see that color progress through and make a natural transition from one theme to the other, where you can see the blues become the greens and the greens become the pinks. And in this you can see it. When we start to put this quilt together, what we're going to do is we're going to take the strips. This is one of the blue strips, and lay it over here. Scooch this down. We're going to take one strip from each fabric in the way that we like them. For example, I like the way we've laid them out right here. I like the way they came out of that roll, and I'm going to keep with that theme. So I'm just going to take one of each and stack them over here. And this will be one, this will all be stitched together. We're going to make a strip piecing that will then be cut into 5-inch blocks. And that may sound a little complicated right now, but it isn't. I have to admit, when I very first started quilting, sometimes I got really worried when I would read a pattern's directions and it would say, cut all these strips, stitch them together, cut them into blocks. And it really would make me nervous because I couldn't see in my mind what it was we were about to do. And that's why I'm doing this video with you, because sometimes we just really have to see what we're doing. Alright, so we have the 10 colors here and 10 colors here. Now what we're going to do is we are going to split this up, because remember, our original quilt, we saw 5 designs in the block, and they went one way and then the other. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to scooch it over. And we'll do the same thing with the other pieces. This is just one example now. So you're going to take these 5 strips and you're going to stitch each of them together. And we're going to take this 5 and stitch all the way down, from top to bottom, all the way down. We're going to take the next set of 5 and the next set of 5. And in the end, we're going to have 4 big, long, pieced rectangles. And we'll cut them up. This week, though, our main goal is to simply get our fabric out, get it cut to the right length if we're cutting it. If we're not cutting it, then we're just going to open that jelly roll out and lay it on the table. What I like to do is I lay these out and I leave them there. Walk away. Go wash the dishes. Take a walk outside. Come back by and pass by your fabric a few times, and you might say, "Ooh, I don't like the way this looks." Play with it a little bit. Rearrange things if you want to. You want to feel like you really like the way this sits. So for me, I have my pieces laid out. They're laying here on a table in my room. I'm going to walk away now. I'm not going to mess with this for a day or two, because I really want to see, does something catch my eye that sticks out that I don't like about this? If I really am happy and content with it, then I'm ready to move to the next thing. I hope this week you'll get out there in the fabric store and either find a jelly roll or find some fabrics that you really like. Get them out on your table, cut some strips, and lay them out. Spend some time just messing with the different designs, the different color palette, and see how they all come together, and see if you can find a pattern that you like. Next week we'll look at stitching these together and cutting them into blocks. But for now, go out and have some fun in the fabric store.